Our next speaker is Ashley Harkness, who those of us in the district know intimately. He is a great colleague, mentor, leader, and friend to me. Ashley is an Air Force veteran. He and I argue about that. I'm an Army veteran, so we get into all sorts of conversations about that. Today, he will share his thoughts on the remembrance of Pearl Harbor and how it affects us even today. Please welcome Ashley Harkness with his presentation of The Legacy of Pearl Harbor. The Legacy of Pearl Harbor, Ashley Harkness.
Thank you, Linda. Today is December 7th, 2024. And on this day, 83 years ago, the Imperial Japanese Navy attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii and brought the United States into the war. I am a member of a veterans organization, the American Legion. And the other day, one of our new members told me a story about his grandfather. He had been on the ship, the Arizona. Yeah. He was working on the fantail. I'm going to try and share this picture here. Share. There we go. This is the Arizona. He was working on the fantail, which is the back end of the ship over here. He was arranging the chairs for the Sunday service. Now, because he was putting those chairs out, he was on the deck when the Japanese attacked. A Japanese bomber dropped an armor-piercing bomb onto the deck of the Arizona. It went down into the forward ammunition magazine and exploded. The resulting explosion blew out the decks above, collapsed the bulkheads, and flooded the ship. The Arizona sank quickly into the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor, taking 1,700 crew members to their death. The Marine, the new member's grandfather, was blown into the water and survived. Today, we memorialize that Arizona with this tragic loss and think about all those people who sacrificed themselves. We remember the events of December 7th, 1941, that President Roosevelt called the Day of Infamy. Well, for many of others, it was a personal moment that they never forgot. For instance, my mother recalled that she was in the kitchen making noodles for her soup. The radio suddenly interrupted the Philharmonic Orchestra broadcast to announce the bombing of Pearl Harbor. My mother asked, "Where is Pearl Harbor?" It was not a famous place yet. She would tell us that she wondered what it all meant, this radio broadcast about events far off in the Pacific Ocean. Pearl Harbor was a place that many had never heard of before, yet that attack changed the lives of millions of Americans forever. That attack would also be the harbinger of many such events in the future. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, I was seated in a passenger plane at the Oakland airport, taxiing out to the tarmac. We were about to take off for Washington, D.C. The plane suddenly came to a stop, and the engine shut down. Being an Air Force veteran, I knew that was not right. The pilot announced, "We are on an FAA ground hold, and we are returning to the terminal." I took out my transistor radio and learned that the Twin Towers had been attacked. It was a day when everything changed. Unlike the radio of 1941, television repeatedly showed us horrific images of airliners hitting the Twin Towers in New York. As it was with Pearl Harbor, we knew everything going forward would be different. The greeting became, "Where were you on 9/11? It was the new watchword. Today, the mention of 9/11 brings back vivid memories to my generation, the day the world changed. What are your memorable 9/11 life-changing moments? Something at home? Something at school, at work? Maybe an event in your personal life, a marriage, a birth, a death. maybe even military service. We all have these moments. Today, we remember Pearl Harbor and the battleship Arizona's sacrifice. It was the symbolic 9/11 moment for our parents at that time. Today, we are the beneficiaries of the sacrifices of veterans and citizens who made our lives, our freedoms possible. Today, when someone thanks me for my service, I respond, "It was a privilege to serve." Our freedoms are hard-won privileges, giving us safekeeping. Today, let's all remember Pearl Harbor and commit to a personal responsibility to keep our nation free. Back to you, Linda.